Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to explain what Bitcoin really is and what the famous Bitcoin white paper actually says, but in the simplest, most kid-friendly way possible. Imagine we're all 7 years old again, playing in a giant playground full of friends, games, and toy coins. Ready? Let's jump in. So imagine this. You're playing a trading game with your friends. Everyone's swapping glitter stickers, toy coins, or maybe Pokemon cards. One of your friends says, "Hey, I gave you this shiny coin already." But then, they turn around and give that same shiny coin to someone else. Wait, what? That's cheating! They just used the same coin twice. That, friends, is what Bitcoin was designed to stop: double spending. Let's think about that in the digital world. If I send you a picture, I still have a copy, right? If digital money worked like that, I could just copy and paste a coin and send it to two people at once. That would make digital money useless, because who decides what's real and what's fake? Right now, that scorekeeper is your bank. Banks are like the teacher in class who keeps track of everyone's points. You say, "Teacher, I gave Sam 5 points." The teacher looks in the notebook and says, "Okay, you have 5 fewer, and Sam now has 5 more." The teacher, the bank, keeps things fair. But sometimes teachers aren't perfect. They make mistakes. They play favorites, and in banking, they charge fees, delay transfers, or even block you from sending money where you want. So the big question is, can we build a system that works without a teacher? A fair money system that no one controls? Now imagine that, in the playground, instead of one teacher keeping the score, we have a giant magic notebook sitting in the middle of the yard. Anyone can walk up and look at it. Everyone can read what's written, but no one can erase or secretly change it. The notebook keeps records like A sent 1 coin to B. B sent 2 coins to C. C sent 0.5 coin to D. This notebook is called the blockchain. It's like an open diary of every transaction ever made, totally public and shared by everyone. So if someone tries to cheat and says, "I didn't spend that coin," everyone can check the notebook and say, yes you did. It's right here." And that makes cheating almost impossible. Now, imagine every page of this playground notebook can only hold a certain number of notes. Once that page is full, it gets locked forever, and a new page starts. Each page, or block, is tied to the page before it using a special code that acts like a fingerprint. So page 5 has a tiny fingerprint from page 4. Page 6 includes page 5's fingerprint, and so on. If anyone tries to change what's written on page 4, its fingerprint changes, and that means page 5 won't match anymore. Everyone instantly knows that page has been tampered with. Now you understand why it's called a blockchain, a chain of locked pages that record transactions forever. Here's a fun part. If everyone can see the notebook, who gets to write the next page?
This is where Bitcoin miners come in. Miners are like students racing to solve a super tricky math puzzle. Whoever solves it first gets to write the next page in the notebook and earns a reward, new Bitcoin. Think of it like this. The teacher says, whoever guesses the secret number first gets 1 gold star and gets to update the class record. That's mining. But these puzzles aren't normal math problems. They're more like guessing the exact combination on a 10,000-digit lock. It takes loads of computer power and energy. The first one to solve it says, "I got it," and shows the answer. Everyone else quickly checks the work to make sure it's right. If it's correct, that miner gets to add a new page to the blockchain, write all the recent transactions on it, and win some Bitcoin. Now you might be wondering, why make it so hard? Why not let anyone just write in the notebook? Well, imagine if every kid in the playground could scribble in the notebook anytime. Chaos. Everyone would write fake trades and make themselves rich instantly. So Bitcoin says, you can add to the notebook, but only if you've done enough work to prove you earned the right. That's called proof of work. If someone tries to cheat and rewrite a past page, they'd have to redo the puzzle for that page and every single page after it, faster than all the honest miners combined. That's like trying to rewrite 1,000 notebook pages while the rest of the class keeps adding new ones every minute. Almost impossible. That built-in difficulty keeps Bitcoin safe, not by rules, but by pure math. Sometimes 2 miners finish the puzzle almost at the same time. For a tiny moment, there might be 2 versions of the blockchain. So how do we decide which is the real one? Bitcoin's rule is simple. The longest chain wins. The version of the notebook with the most work behind it, the longest chain, becomes the true one. Over time, everyone naturally converges on that honest version. This keeps all the notebooks across the world in perfect sync, without any central boss or controller. Now let's talk about how transactions actually work. When you send Bitcoin, you don't hand somebody a coin. Instead, you use a secret digital signature to say, "I really own this, and I'm giving it away." Each person has a private key, your secret pen only you can use, a public key, like your name on the school list. When you sign a transaction with your private key, everyone can confirm it was truly you, but nobody can figure out your private key from the signature. It's like signing your name in ink that proves it's yours but can't be forged. The network checks the notebook every time someone sends Bitcoin. It asks, does this wallet actually have enough coins? Has this money already been spent? If everything checks out, the transaction is valid. Miners then include it in the next block. Once it's written in that block, and more blocks get added, your transaction becomes almost impossible to change. You've probably heard crypto people say things like, wait for one confirmation, or wait for 6 confirmations. That simply means your transaction has been added to a block, and more blocks are getting stacked on top of it. Think of it like stacking heavy books on top of that page. The more you add, the harder it is to go back and pull a page out from underneath. That's how Bitcoin achieves finality. Certainty that what's done stays done. Now you might ask, why wouldn't miners cheat if they could? Because Bitcoin makes honesty profitable. Miners earn Bitcoin rewards and transaction fees when they follow the rules. If they cheat, the network ignores their blocks, and they waste tons of electricity and money for nothing. Honesty pays better. So Bitcoin uses money itself as the incentive to protect money. Pretty clever, right? The Bitcoin network works like a massive group chat that never stops. Every time someone makes a transaction, it's shared with thousands of computers worldwide. Miners pick up those transactions, check the signatures, and try to add them to the next block. When someone wins, they shout, "New block found." Everyone checks if it's valid, and if it is, they update their copy of the notebook. That's how Bitcoin stays consistent globally. Everyone's running the same rulebook and verifying the same truth. A lot of people think Bitcoin is 100% anonymous. Not quite. Bitcoin is pseudonymous, which means it shows wallet addresses instead of real names. So you might see A sent 0.75 BTC to B at address 1AB3ZX9Q. If nobody links that address to you, you're private. But if someone finds out that address belongs to you, say through an exchange or a post, your whole transaction history becomes visible. That's why users often use new addresses to stay hard to trace. Bitcoin's one big rule: it only stays safe if most miners are honest. If someone controls over half the mining power, a 51% attack, they could try to rewrite recent history. But that would cost enormous amounts of hardware, electricity, and money. So in the real world, it simply isn't practical. The white paper became legendary because it solved something no one had ever solved before: how to make digital money that doesn't rely on a central authority. Before Bitcoin, every online payment system had a company running the show: PayPal, banks, credit cards. Satoshi Nakamoto combined 6 key ideas: a public ledger anyone can verify, proof of work puzzles to secure it, a longest chain consensus rule, cryptographic signatures to verify ownership, financial incentives to keep people honest, and a global peer-to-peer network. All of that working together created money that runs on math, not trust. Let's go back to our playground story one last time. The blockchain equals a public notebook everyone can see. Blocks equals pages filled with transactions. Miners equals puzzle solvers competing to add new pages. Proof of work equals the rule that keeps everyone honest. Longest chain equals the official version everyone agrees on. Digital signatures equals the magic pen that proves who owns what. And together, that system stops cheating, double spending, and the need for a bank. That's Bitcoin. It's a system built on transparency, teamwork, and math that anyone can join. If this explanation helped you finally get Bitcoin, hit that like button.
Comment below with next if you want me to cover topics like what a Bitcoin wallet really is, why the Bitcoin price changes, or what halving means for miners. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun tech explainers made simple.